Wildcats, let's continue on with likelihood of simple events. Remember, we talked about the likelihood ranges anywhere from impossible to 100% certain. We're going to take a look at 5 different examples and come up with what is the probability of trying to find the odds of it happening. So, let's first take a look at the standard deck of cards. We talked about in a standard deck of cards, we're going to have 52 cards. That would represent our total without the jokers in the deck. Let's do a practice question where we try to find the probability of drawing the number 11. Now, if you'll remember, we only have the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace. How many 11s do we have? Now, the action that we're going to take here is we're going to draw a card. In order to take an action, we're going to have to draw a card. What you'll see is if they're asking you to find the probability of 11, you'll see a P standing for probability, and inside a set of parentheses, it'll tell you what we're trying to find the probability of. For example, the probability of drawing an 11. However, we know that there are 0 11s in a deck. So the theoretical probability of this happening is actually impossible. Okay, there is a 0% chance that this will happen. Written as a fraction, we know that there are 0 11s out of the 52 cards in the deck. 0 out of 52 is also known as a 0% chance. Make sure if you need to watch or rewatch this that you rewind and go back. Also, if I write it, you write it. Let's take a look at our next example. The next one we're looking at is a bag of marbles. In this bag of marbles, we have 20 red, 5 blue, and 2 purple. Looking at this, let's try an example that will represent unlikely. If we were having this bag of marbles, it would be unlikely for us to pull out a purple marble. Now, in order to do this, we're going to choose one marble. If we were going to figure out what the action is, we would see the letter P, and in parentheses would be the word purple. How many purples are in this bag? It would be 2 out of the total. We have 20 plus 5 plus 2 is 27. We have a 2 out of 27 chance. If we were to find the percent of that, it would be about 7%, meaning this is less than 25%, making this unlikely. Anything around the 25% or less than 50 is going to be under the unlikely category. Let's take a look at something that is equally likely. A spinner that has 2 equal sections. Looking at this, we have a dark side and a light side. So, when we spin it, let's say we're going to spin it to land on white. We want it to land on the white side. So, what are we going to do to get this to happen? We're going to have to spin the spinner. If they were going to ask us to do an action, we would see that they're going to say the probability of landing on white. Looking at this, it seems that my chances are equally likely. If I were to write a fraction, I see that I have a 1 out of 2 chance. We could also say that I have a 50% chance of landing on this. Either one of these are a great representation. Now let's take a look at something that is an example of it likely to happen. This is a picture of a cube. A cube has 6 sides and they're labeled with the numbers 1 through 6, meaning they include the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For it to be likely, let's say we want to roll a number 1 through 4. Now, in order to do that, we're going to have to roll the cube. When this happens, we're looking for the probability of landing on the numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4. Any of those are a possibility. Now, looking at these numbers, I have a likely chance of this happening because I have over half of the numbers available. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 4 out of 6. If we were to write this as a percent, that's about a 67% chance of landing on one of those numbers, which is over 50%, meaning it is more likely for it to happen. Let's take a look at our last example. We're now going to talk about something that's certain. I have a box of black Expo markers. There's a 12 count. What is the probability that I am going to pull out a black marker? Okay. In order to do this, I'm going to have to choose a marker. And we're looking for the probability that it will be a black marker. Doing so, I have a certain chance because 12 out of the 12 markers are black, meaning that it is 100% sure that this is going to happen for me. Now, you're going to try an activity where you sort, is this likely or unlikely? Good luck and make sure you look back at your notes.